Hi, welcome to our channel. Today our topic is about the cd command in Linux, also known as the change directory command. Cd is a built-in command in Linux, and FYI, Windows CMD also uses a similar command. Here I made a chart of the similar commands in Windows and in Linux. The Windows CMD command dir is similar to ls. The cd for Windows CMD is also similar to the Linux cd command. For the cat in Windows, this is type in Windows and cat in Linux. And cls in Windows is similar to clear in Linux. Change directory or cd command in Linux is used to traverse the Linux file system so that you can access specific folders or directories as needed. For this demo, cd will be used in relation to other common commands such as the clear command, and number 2, some aliases of ls such as ll, la, and l. To know more about this, we'll explore the script file named the .bashrc file. Now, before going to the demonstration of Linux, let's first go to Windows and I'll show you some similarities with the commands. Here I have two files on my Windows desktop, AAA and BBB. Both are text files. I also opened up a CMD prompt. Now let's try this command. Number 1, dir. In Windows CMD, dir will list all the files and folders in that current directory. Let's say I wanted to go to the desktop folder. To do that, I'll just type cd space and then desktop. Press enter. Now I'm on the desktop folder. To clear the screen, I'll just type cls. Now I'll try to use dir once again to list the files inside the desktop folder. And the output shows that there are two files on my desktop, similar to this. If I open up each one of them, the content of AAA is I can do this. In the terminal, I can also read the content of the file by using the type command. Like so. Press enter. And here is the output. Same as this. Now let's try this file. For bbb.txt, we can type and then bbb.txt. Based from the output, they both have the same contents. Now let's clear the screen. In Windows, we use cls. Now this is just a quick demonstration of the similarities in Linux and Windows CMD. Now let's go back to Linux. Now let's move on to the demonstrations. First, we need to know the behavior of these commands. The best way to do it is to try them. Let's open up a terminal and let's try number 1. cd and then this path or directory. Using cd and placing the path to where we want to go, we were able to go to sbin. We can verify the files inside this directory by typing ls -la, and here we have two files. both of which are scripts. Now let's go to number 2. cd space and then 2 dots. The behavior of this command is that when you use it, cd dot dot, it will move you one directory up. So based on my prediction, you'll be going here, local directory. Let's try it. And as expected, it moved me a directory up. Now let's try number 3. For number 3, the command cd and cd space tilde will give you the same results. Let's try it. cd or cd tilde will get you to your home directory. As expected, we're now in our home directory with the tilde symbol. We can also verify this by typing pwd to know our present working directory, which is home/bill. Now let's try cd tilde if it will give us the same results. Let's go back to cd usr local folder and type cd tilde. And yes, we're back to our home directory. Now let's try number 4, cd dash or cd space dash. Using this command will send you back to the directory, to the previous directory. So if our previous directory is usr/local, then expectedly if we use that command cd space dash, we'll go back to this directory, or the terminal will send us back to this directory. So let's try it. So as expected, we're back to /usr/local. But what if we repeat it? So since our previous directory is our home directory, it is expected that we'll get back to our home directory. So let's try it. Okay, so we're back to our home directory. Now for number 5, clear command is similar to the Windows CLS command. It will clear your screen. Let's try it here. Okay, let's try number 6. These are aliases of BLS command: LL, LA, and L. Let's try LL. Based on the output, we can see that it gave us the permission for the files inside the directory, the users or the owners, and the group owners, and some other information. It also gave us information about the hidden files and hidden folders. FYI, hidden files have dot in front of their file names, and hidden folders have dot in front of their file names also. Now let's try LA. With LA, the output is less informative than LL. Less the permission and the users and groups, and also the file sizes. But it gave us information about the hidden files, hidden folders, and non-hidden folders and files. Now let's try L. Using L command will give us a lesser informative output. It will only output non-hidden folders and files. Now that we know the behavior of these commands, let's go now to the demonstration on how I use cd in combination with other commands. For this demonstration, I will be tweaking some of the aliases, and we will tweak it inside the .bashrc file. Just a note, in reality you won't be using cd alone. It is used in sequence with other commands like the following: ls-la, clear command, and grep. Here, I will be using the aliases of this command, ls-la, and I will show you how I will tweak it inside the .bashrc file. Both this method is applicable whether you're using Ubuntu desktop or an Ubuntu server. So let's try it. Let's clear the screen and let's type ls-la. The file that I'm referring to is .bashrc. This is the file. So let's edit it using nano. Let's go down to the lines where it says alias for LL, LA, and L. Here it is. For newly installed Ubuntu or Ubuntu desktop or Ubuntu server, normally I place a clear command here. So here, and also here. Now the purpose of this tweaking is that I wanted, for example, this command to first clear my screen before executing ls-alf. Just to give you an idea, we can try this command. ls-alf. So using that line of command, it's the same. It will have the same output if I use ll command. Okay. But I wanted to tweak the behavior of this command alias by introducing a clear command here before it executes this command. Same here and same here. Okay. But before I save this so that it will take effect, let's try to the old command here so that we can compare the two. On the right is the untweaked aliases. Let's type ll. Let's type la. Let's type l. So now we can see the behavior of these three commands. What if I save this file with this addition clear? So let's save it, Ctrl O, Ctrl X, and then let's type source.bashrc. Let's clear the screen. Let's see what will happen if I type ll. Based on the results, nothing's changed. Now let's try LA. Now, It does have the same results as the LA command here, but the behavior is that it cleared the screen of the output from the first command before it executed LA. So let's type L. Let's try L. Again, it cleared the screen first before it executed L. I do this tweaking to declutter my terminal. That is to remove the previous outputs of the previous command, thereby reducing the number of times that I will issue the command clear. This tweaking is just a suggestion. You may or may not use it. The commands will still work. Okay, so now let's try cd with the tweak commands. Let's close this terminal. And once again, clear the screen. Let's try this example. cd/usr/local/sbin. cd usr/local/sbin. Press enter. And then we can try any of these three. Let's try all of them. Let's try ll. Let's try LA. Let's try L. You can choose any of these commands based on your preference. Or I mean, you may use any of these commands based on what you want. Now let's try cd etc apt. Let's go to this directory. And let's try these three commands: ll, la, and l. So you can use ll if you want the information that it will give you, such as the permissions and the users of the file or directory. Or if you want, you can just use LA if you're just looking for hidden and non-hidden files, or even so, L. Let's try the third example, cd tilde. So, using this command, it will bring us to our home directory. Let's try ll, and it will give us all this information. But if you want, you can use LA if you're just interested with what are the hidden and non-hidden files. For non-hidden files, you can just use L. Now let's go to using grep in the perspective of searching patterns from listed files. Let's clear the screen and let's try this first example. Let's type cd/usr/local/sbin. Here, let's try to execute ll alone without piping it to grep IP tables. As you can see, there are two files inside it. Now let's try ll and pipe the output to grep. And let's try to give it a search pattern of IP tables. If I'm going to predict the output of this command, it would be this one. Why? Because ll will list these files, and the output of the ll command was piped to grep, which will look for the pattern IP tables. Expectedly, it will choose this file. So let's try it. And there you go. As expected, it shows this file, and with it, the information regarding permissions and the users and groups, because it grepped for the pattern IP tables. Normally, this method is very useful when you're searching for files inside a directory with multiple files, hundreds of files, or even thousands of files. Let's try the second example. Let's go to cd etc apt. Let's clear the screen. Here, let's try ll. These are the contents of this directory, apt. First, let's try ll command. Now, let's try to execute these remaining commands. I believe this should be only the source. Let's try this. la5 grep source. If we're going to predict the output of this command, I believe these two files will be the output, since it's got the pattern source in it. But let's try. As expected, both files were the output. Now let's try the third example. cd tilde will bring us to our home directory. Let's clear the screen. And then let's try this last portion of the command. ll5 grep. But first, let's try to see what are the contents of this directory. So here are the contents. And based from the command that we'll be using, we will be grepping for .bashrc. So if we're going to predict the output of this command, it would be this line. So let's try it. ll5 grep.bashrc. Let's press enter. And as expected, the output is .bashrc together with its corresponding information. So now, as you can see, we can search for a pattern in the listed files by using grep. I normally use this at work when I'm looking for files inside a directory that contains a lot of files, sometimes thousands of files. So long as I know a pattern that I'm looking for, or a keyword. Let's try another example. Let's try to go to the etc directory. Here, let's count the files and folders inside etc. Based on the output, there are around 236 files and folders combined, excluding the contents of the folders that were included in the count. So let's say we're looking for a file with a name that has resolve in it. Let's try this. Based on the output, inside etc folder, there's this file resolve.conf. and the contents of it is about the DNS. Let's try another one. Let's try to look for a file with a name that has WPA in it. Like so. I think we found a folder with a WPA pattern in it. This is just one method of how I search for files and directories in Linux. There are other ways. Maybe I'll just cover them in other videos. But for now, this is just a demonstration of how I use cd command. cd command in combination with other commands. Now let's try to cover the topic about absolute and relative path. To demonstrate this topic, let's create these directories: home build documents L1, L2, L3, and home build videos V1. Actually, this home build documents directories already exist. We'll just create these three above the documents directory, and home build videos directories do also exist. We'll just create this V1 directory. So let's clear the screen. Let's go to documents and use this command to create these three cascaded directories. Okay, let's check. So we're done with this part. Now let's go to this part. Let's go cd videos, and then let's create the V1 directory. Okay, we're done. We already have the V1 directory. Now for this demonstration of the relative path, we'll first go to this directory. So now that we're here, from L3, let's go to V1 of the videos directory. And to do that, by using relative path, we can do cd ///videos/v1. So let's try it. Cd. By the way, just to remind you, a while ago we tried to demonstrate the behavior of cd //. cd // will bring us one folder up. So if we're going to do this command, if we're in L3, we will move up to L2. Let's try it. And as expected, we're now in L2. So what will happen if we do some cascaded .. in our cd command? Let's go back to L3. Let's try cd .. So this .. represents L3. Another .. represents L2. Another .. represents L1. And another .. represents documents. Now that we're in the home directory level, we can now go to videos folder, which is somehow on the level of the documents folder. the documents folder of the same level as the videos folder. And inside the videos folder, we can now go to V1. So using relative path, we cd to this path. Let's press enter if we're going to transfer to this directory. And based on the output, it's successful. We're now in the videos /v1 directory. So now let's demonstrate the absolute path. Let's go back to Documents. Let's clear the screen. Here, we're going to use the absolute path going to from L3 going to V1. So using cd command, we can do this line. Let's type cd home bill videos /v1. As you can see, it's much simpler than the relative path. Let's try it. Let's press enter. And now we're in the videos folder. Actually, at work, I oftentimes use the absolute path because I have memorized some of the direct path to the folders that I wanted to access. Also, I use absolute path when doing scripts. I only use relative path when I need to move up or down a directory or two. But moving up or down a directory that is too deep becomes quite complicated. But you may choose any of this. You have the freedom to choose. But my recommendation is you use the simpler of the two based on the situation. So you use a relative path if you're going to move up or down a directory or two. But if you know the exact path, well, it's better to use the absolute path. So I think we're done. I hope you find this useful and thank you for watching.